No matter your age, your plan for retirement can start today. From the News Channel 5 Network, this is the Retirement Report.
Good morning. Welcome to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. We're going to talk about approaching retirement, about getting ready for retirement, if you will. Now, this is something that you can start, of course, at any age in that as far as saving and the rest. But what we're talking about as you get closer, what kind of decisions you're going to have to make, what kind of things you're going to have to do to prepare for retirement. Things like Social Security, Medicare, how those are going to work, what the costs are going to be out of pocket for you, what kind of things you need to do to sign up for those things, whether you're going to have a pension, what's involved there, and talk about income in retirement. You know, a lot of times you hear a lot of talk about what am I going to have for assets, in terms of how much do I need to save. This is a very common question. Do I need, I've got whatever that dollar amount might be for you, a few $100,000, maybe it's $1 million, maybe it's a few million, whatever it is, and relative to your lifestyle as to what that's going to look like as well. There's no set number, and it's all individualized based on what your lifestyle expenses are going to be, what you're going to need, in other words, to continue to maintain or maybe attain a higher lifestyle in retirement. What are you going to need to have for assets for that, and of course, what are you going to have for income? So if someone has a pension and you're going to have Social Security, then the amount that you'll need to be able to pull from saved up that you'll pull from your retirement accounts is likely to be less. So the more guaranteed income you have, the easier it is when it comes to planning. And that's one of the things we'll talk about as well. How can you increase your guaranteed income? One of the things about assets, and we've all heard stories of sports stars or movie stars or, celebrities that have had tremendous amounts of money and then have lost it all and in fact find themselves, struggling financially. And so it tells us again, it's not always about building up assets that you can in fact lose or be swindled, or markets can take away, or if you've invested poorly, any number of things can happen. The real key is guaranteed income. You'll find in fact some successful people that have set themselves up to where they're able to have guaranteed income for life, and they've done that with combinations of things. So one is guaranteed income can be done through retirement annuities. This is an area where an example would be, some extreme examples, Ken Lay of old, if you recall from Enron days, O.J. Simpson, who's notorious as well, of course. These are people that basically set themselves up to be able to receive lifetime income through their retirement plans. In other words, they set money into retirement annuities that allowed them to have guaranteed income for life, and not only that guaranteed income there for them that provides that lifestyle, but in addition, they can't even going through lawsuits where they were lost everything else they may have had, they did not lose that retirement income. So one of the things that we're looking at when it comes to preparing for retirement, what are you going to have for income? What sources of income are you going to have? When you're investing, are you looking at maybe rental properties? Are you going to have, again, if you have a pension, only about 18% of Americans today, by the way, are going to have pensions when they retire. So planning as far as deferred comp plans, our retirement plans are more important than ever. How much we can save for retirement and how much income we'll be able to derive from that retirement, those retirement savings. So we're going to get into that today. One of the things that goes with it, because it's such an individual thing, when I have new clients come in, one of the things we're always addressing is determining, well, how much income are you going to need from your investments in retirement, and make sure you never run out of money during retirement, and that income not only is provided, but it will also increase over time with inflation to cover taxes, that type of thing. So how do we do that? Well, we get into planning. We look at how much income you have now, how much income you're going to have in retirement. What your expenses are now, is that going to change in retirement? For a lot of people, when you retire, right, every day is Saturday, so we're going to technically, we're going to probably spend a little bit more maybe, or maybe we want to travel, maybe we do some fun things in life that we've saved up for, now we get to do them, so we want to make sure we account for that, and so our spending could actually increase, especially in the initial years of retirement. So that's another part of the planning. Now we know that inflation happens, so if we set an income amount And I'll give you an example when it comes to your retirement savings and how we look at that. If you're looking at retirement and you're a safe withdrawal rate from your retirement accounts, maybe 3 or 4% as an example, well, how are you going to accomplish that? If you think about that, let's say you've got, on $1 million, that's $40,000 a year, let's say, all right, that you could pull from that. Now, that $40,000 a year, though, if 10 years from now, with inflation, you're going to need like over $50,000, maybe $52,000, $53,000 to buy the same things that $40,000 did today. So how are you going to make sure that you not only have the income you need, but that it increases? So that means if you're pulling out 4%, you need to be making more than 4% on your money. If you factor in, say, 3% for inflation, now you'd need to be having that increase by that 3%. And you also then need to be able to account for taxes. So you may need to be making somewhere between 6 and 8% on your money if you're intending to take out 4%. How are you going to do that? We're going to talk about some of that today. All right. So we're determining what is the needed rate of return on your investments to make sure that you're going to have the income you need to attain and maintain your standard living, your quality of life, no matter how long you live. All right. That's the real goal of retirement planning. So when it comes to how to do that, we're going to get into that today, how you can accomplish those goals, and how, in fact, you could, some other things about preparing for retirement as far as, weighing in what you have. Now, because it's an individual thing, here's what I'm going to do. For the first 10 callers to my office this morning, I'm going to do up an individual plan for you. I'll help you, look at your situation, what you're going to have for income, what you're going to have for expenses, what you have for assets currently, what, if any, liabilities, how, in fact, to put that whole plan together, determine when to take Social Security, what the best age for that would be for you, because, again, that also differs according to the individual. This isn't a one-size-fits-all. It's a very individualized plan. Easy for me to say, right? All right, free retirement income analysis. First 10 callers to my office, 615-376-5325. Tess is standing by. She'll get your information. She'll send you out a packet which will include what you'll need to bring to your appointment with me so that we can do up this plan for you. And again, what are we looking at? What are you going to have for income, your expenses, your assets, and your liabilities? Those are the basic four. And from that, we can do all the work, determine what needed rate of return you need on your investments, how to best do that with the least amount of risk, how to do it safely, in other words. And when you come in to see me, I'll also give you a free copy of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement. So again, first 10 callers, 615-376-5325. Tess is standing by. She'll get your information and get that out to you, all right? All right, we're going to jump in here. One of the things when it's approaching retirement, how should you approach retirement? So there's some recent retiree findings, one of which is 57% of retirees, which they had done more planning for retirement, right? Can we all get, yes, how many people, and this is one of the things, there's been so many different studies when it comes to planning, and of course what do they say about failing to plan is planning to fail? This is one of the areas, having a plan. Start now. Let's figure it out. Let's figure out what you need to do to make sure you're going to be able to do all the things that enjoy your retirement. So when it comes to planning, one of the things that 57% said wish they had done more planning. That was one of the studies as well, is that people spend more time planning for a 2-week vacation than they do for retirement. And retirement is what, 20, 30 years? People are living longer all the time, so of course they're going to be retired longer as well. So one of the things they wish that, and this study showed that they wish they had saved more. We can all say that, right? We would always a little more. Let's put some money away. And it's always finding that balance of being able to enjoy life and at the same time plan for your future. But it's real important to pay yourself first with regard to that, so you'll have that future that you desire. All right, the next is considering planning to spend more and not less. And this is one of those areas, it's not about getting by. When we do our lifestyle expense worksheet, one of the things we're doing there is we're looking at how can we make sure that we're going to have the money that we need in retirement. And to do that, we want to identify, well, what is your lifestyle currently? And what if you could do, if you had your druthers, so to speak, what would you like to do? Would you like to travel more? Would you like more money for vacations, more for entertainment, for hobbies? Whatever that might be, planning to spend more in retirement, we always want to round up. We always want to make sure that you're going to have that. So we set that the first baseline of maintaining your standard of living, and then we add in for fun money for the things that are going to make in retirement all the more enjoyable. Working in retirement, a lot of people do that, and it's both because it gives them something to look forward to each day, or that maybe only work a few days a week even, but it's something that kind of keeps you sharp. It's again, depending on what kind of work, finding something that really makes you feel good about yourself and about what you're doing. And of course, the extra money is always nice too, right? A little extra. And I've never heard anybody complain about having too much money. Paid more attention to general planning. And again, if you understand all the different factors when it comes to like Social Security and Medicare and your investments and taxes, just sitting down, with my clients, we sit down once, twice a year at least. I like ideally two, so we can do some tax planning as well as the financial planning, and making sure we're staying on track with the original plan and tweaking it as needed to make sure that we're able to again attain and maintain that standard of living and quality of life. And then the other, investing more aggressively in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. It's one of the areas, yes, and aggressively but smart. All right, how the smart money invests. It's all about asset allocation, and if you do that correctly, yes, then it's all about how much you're going to have in equities versus, say, stocks, that is, versus bonds in a portfolio, and then how that portfolio is put together is another. It's in fact the biggest determinant of what you're going to get for return and what kind of risk you have in your portfolio is asset allocation. Done correctly, this means you're going to be able to have the returns that you're looking for with the least amount of risk. Incorrectly, and you put yourself at risk to get behind the 8 ball as far as losses in the market. Individual companies, for instance, higher risk. If they go bankrupt, if they go out of business, you could lose all your money. Don't want that to happen. So good asset allocation, diversification, a lot of different holdings, in other words, in your portfolio, and knowing how to do that. We've got 60 years of academic research, Nobel Prize winning academic research to show us how to do that. We're going to try to get into that too today. All right, but first we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll jump right back in. Join me here. I'll be right back on the Retirement Report.